The more propulsion swimmers can create, the faster they go. Simple in concept, easier said than done. To help as many swimmers as possible, we need options. Hi everyone, Andrew here, helping you help your swimmers get faster. When it comes to improving difficult skills, it's important to have options to provide swimmers as many opportunities to improve as possible. Options are important because you never know which strategies are going to work with which swimmers, and you never know which are going to work best. In this video, we'll talk about a strategy using a stationary cord that you might not need all the time or even often, but when you do, it's a game changer. Let's take a look at the problem that it solves, why it works, and how to use it best. Holding water is one of the key skills that swimmers can learn. It's also one of the most challenging. When it comes down to it, speed is just propulsion minus resistance. So the more propulsion they can create, the faster they will go. So simple in concept, difficult in practice. To hold lots of water, swimmers have to feel it. And the challenge is that holding water involves a lot of counterintuitive positions. Setting up the stroke is very different than any other sort of force application that humans use in everyday life. And so what feels effective isn't effective, and what feels ineffective typically is. When actually applying force to the water, swimmers have to learn how to manage the pressure they feel on their limbs, whether that's the arms or the legs. Subtle differences in pressure can inform more effective or less effective ways of creating propulsion. And again, many swimmers struggle to feel this. And to help swimmers learn to hold lots of water, we often tend to resort to using instructions. And unfortunately, instructions can't really help swimmers understand what to feel. But if we can give them experiences, then they can understand what it's supposed to feel like, what they're supposed to do, and how to use that information to create speed. An underappreciated and underused strategy to help swimmers learn how to hold water is having them swim stationary while being resisted by a cord. And so they're going to swim against a cord that's holding them placed in the water. If you look below me, there's an example of a stretch cord. So there's a belt that goes around swimmer's waist. There's an elastic band that is either held by another person or it's attached to something. And swimmers are going to swim against that resistance. And so those cords typically can go full 25 yards or a full 25 meters. But what we're looking for is them to get about halfway down the pool and have the resistance be enough to hold them in place. And so we don't want them progressing forward. And once in that position, they can go for a certain amount of time or a certain amount of stroke cycles. Now, why is it effective? Well, when they're swimming stationary and they have a resistance that's holding them in place, when they use their arms or their legs to create propulsion, they are going to get a ton of pressure on their limbs. So for the first time, they're going to be able to really feel what's happening when they apply pressure to the water, and that's going to provide them with a better understanding of how to hold water, how to create propulsion. Not only are they feeling the pressure on their limbs, they also get a sense of what's actually effective for them to maintain their position. So if they're using certain strategies and they can feel that they're being pulled backwards and they're not holding their position, and then they change what they're doing, one, they can see the positive impact of that change, and two, they can better feel what they did differently because of that added resistance. And so we've created an environment, an experience where they can better understand the impact of how to create propulsion using their limbs, and they can better feel what they're actually doing because of that added pressure, that added resistance on their limbs. The last piece of it is that we've also changed the goal. So rather than just trying to get to the other side or try to get to the other side as fast as possible, we've removed that and they're just focusing on what they can feel and they're just focusing on maintaining their position. So by changing the context, we can change their attention, and by magnifying what they feel, now they can experience something that's going to provide them a whole lot more insight into what they're doing and how to make it better. This isn't a strategy that needs to be used all the time with all swimmers, but particularly if you're having swimmers that are really struggling to create propulsion, it can be an effective tool. So how can we make an effective tool even more effective? First is enhance engagement. So when swimmers are on the cord, keep the duration short. You don't want them on the cord for 3 minutes because they will not be able to pay attention. They will not be able to keep their focus. Keep the repetitions relatively short, whether in terms of stroke cycles or time. It's also valuable to limit the number of consecutive repetitions because, again, we want to keep engagement high. And if they're just staying in the same place for 10, 15 minutes, that's not going to be super engaging. So I prefer to have them use the cord, have them get some insight based upon what the cord can deliver, and then go do something else, use that insight when actually swimming, and then come back and do that over and over again. When using the cord, we can also enhance the skill development that swimmers experience. You can have them use stroke rates, both faster stroke rates and slower stroke rates. The faster stroke rates are going to force them to execute those skills faster. The slower stroke rates are going to force them to get as much as they can out of each stroke cycle in order to maintain their position. Using this strategy isn't limited to full stroke swimming. You can do it with drills as well. And so any drill, if you want to put more pressure on it, you want to help them feel it better, simply have them do the drill with a stationary cord. You can also change their hands. You can have them go closed fist. You can have them go okay sign, have them go upside down paddles, have them go pinch paddles. These are all effective ways for changing how they're interacting with the water, and because of the stationary cord, whatever they're feeling is going to be magnified. You can also use different training aids like a pool buoy to put more pressure on the upper body. You can use a snorkel so that they don't have to worry about their breath. Again, different training aids change the stimulus, which can be used or leveraged to enhance specific skills. So 2 example sets here to illustrate how to use this in practice. First set, they're going to go 4 rounds through. They're going to go 3 times 30 seconds, breaststroke with a dolphin kick, and they're using a stationary cord. So we're working on the upper body here, helping swimmers learn how to hold more water with the arms. The odd rounds, the first rep's head up, so they're pulling with the head up. The second rep, they're going to alternate with 1 stroke head up, 1 stroke regular, and then the third rep, they're going to go all regular. Then the even rounds, they're going to go 1 rep head down, 1 rep alternating normal and head down, and then the third rep will be regular as well. After that, they should be holding water pretty well. 350s breaststroke with a dolphin kick, descend 1 to 3 at the same stroke count. Again, that's going to force them to be long and find ways to go faster, get more out of each stroke, and then a 50 breaststroke strong. So a real focus on helping swimmers learn how to hold a lot of water. So rather than just focusing on the mechanics of what they're doing from a pulling perspective, we're giving them the opportunity to figure out, to feel what they have to do to hold as much water as possible, and then use that skill to create performances. Next set's a freestyle set, a little bit more speed-based. So they're going to go 4 times 15 seconds freestyle with a stationary cord and a tempo trainer. The odds, they're going to recover the arms under the water, really help them get the timing of the pull and the rotation. The evens, they're going to go 1 arm over, 1 arm under. And again, that's focusing on timing, but we're transitioning to regular freestyle. We're going to use a slow stroke rate here so that they have to hold a ton of water and be really effective with setting up their stroke in order to maintain their position. Then they're going to go 50 freestyle. They're going to hit 200 speed with as few strokes as possible. They were just focusing on great timing with holding a ton of water on the cord, and they're going to try to take those skills and make it happen with that first 50. Then the second 50, whatever their stroke count was, they get 2 more strokes, and they're trying to go even faster. So in that set, the focus is on timing. We're using the cord to help them execute great timing while holding a ton of water, and then they're going to make that happen when they swim. If you want to learn more about how to use resistance to help your swimmers improve their skills, check out the video below.